I cannot keep up with what is happening with Spider-Man 3. Oh boy. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel today. Yes, I'm back. I took some well needed time off because one, I ran out of ideas, and two, I just gassed out. Completely gassed out. So yeah, taking a nice little break and I found some stuff to talk about. One thing I definitely wanted to do a video on, which is this one, is talking about these rumour updates with Spider-Man 3, because oh my god, it's getting out of control, guys. Like, I don't know if you've been paying attention to it. I've tried not to. It's got to a point now where the rumours are getting so ridiculous. I don't know if there's any truth in it or if it's plausible, but as a massive Spidey fan, as you guys know, I was like, right, I need to do a video on this. So there's a few things we're going to look at about these potential characters returning, what we know is happening, and some other bits, and then I'm going to go on a bit of a rant, but I will get to that. And yep, sporting my Daredevil beanie, yeah, which is also got Punisher. But I felt for this one Daredevil because it's important, because that is one of the things that's been rumoured, so we'll get into it. So, as we know, Spider-Man 3 has been teased that we're getting alive into the Spider-Verse, which I'm down with. That's awesome. Kind of wish didn't know that, but I'll get into this. So there's a few articles that I'm going to look at because they cover different things, and I think it's going to go into why I'm going to rant about this, but we'll get to it. So obviously the latest thing that came out on, this was like the 8th of December, this was like a couple of weeks ago, is that Spider-Man 3 is bringing back Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus and past Peter Parker's, which obviously we know the previous Spider-Man has been teased, but we'll go into this. So yeah, look at this one article on Collider, which I'll post down below so you can have a read. This article is by Jeff Snyder. I like his writing. I read a lot of his stuff on Collider because I think he's quite a good writer and he's quite open and stuff. He starts to go, what is a spoiler? It's a question worth asking these days as more and more comic book movie news is first reported by fan-driven blogs drawing from leaked set photos. For example, is Alfred Molina's oft-rumoured and now confirmed return as Dr. Octopus in the next Spider-Man movie a spoiler? Will the character appear in the film's marketing materials, or is his return a reveal in the script? I won't pretend to know, but what I do know is that the constant drip 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 of comic book movie news sure has made the movies themselves feel anticlimactic, but if that's what the people want, then who am I to argue? I agree with that. I'm sick and tired of this. Like, I don't know why we need to know everything, but no, I'm not going to go there yet. I'll save this. But just to reiterate what he said, I don't get why we have to know every single thing, because in a way, this has kind of annoyed me a bit, because now I would have liked this to have been a surprise. But now it's like, we're kind of basically going to know every single thing about the film, so there's no element of surprise. I'll carry on. And it goes on to say, because guess what? They're all coming back, everyone. This is where it gets a bit out of control now. So, obviously we know there was the whole thing with Jamie Foxx's Electro coming back. Andrew Garfield will be back as Peter Parker Spider-Man. And if Sony Marvel can close the deal with Tobey Maguire, he'll be back too. Because I think at the moment, they're still trying to negotiate, because I read something, apparently Tobey Maguire's asked for about $15 million. I don't know if that's true. That's the number that's floating around, but I don't think they've got him back yet. That's going on. Kirsten Dunst will return as MJ, and I expect Emma Stone to reprise as Gwen Stacy, pregnancy for me, yeah, because she's pregnant in real life, so that depends how that goes. Why? Because this first Spider-Man movie starring Tom Holland will delve into the multiverse, just like its animated counterpart, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I don't think that's a big secret at this point, so why do we pretend it is? Because we love the pageantry of it all. Yeah, it's, I mean, I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man's always been my favourite since I was like, well, as young as I can remember. Always loved it. And obviously, since seeing Into the Spider-Verse, I was like, oh, it'd be so cool if there was a live-action Spider-Verse. The groundwork's already been set with the previous versions, but it would have been nice to have been a surprise. Anywho, I digress. Let's carry on. Truthfully, I'll never understand why fans want to know every little detail about a movie before they see it, though I can certainly understand the excitement surrounding Molina's return, seeing as his Doc Ock is the best villain Spider-Man's ever faced on a big screen. The 8-limbed scientist was the best thing about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, which remains the stellar entry in the Spider-Man franchise. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, I look back at the Tobey Maguire ones now, and at the time, I really loved them, but unpopular opinion, Andrew Garfield was my favourite Spider-Man. Yes, I know he made Spider-Man 2 have problems, but I liked his version of it. Sorry, I'm going to put it out there. Andrew's my favourite Spider-Man. Hate me. Please don't hate me. I'm just that's just my opinion. Yeah, obviously everyone has always regarded Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire as the best live-action Spider-Man film. I can see it, but at the same time, it's tough for me to pick a live-action favourite for Spider-Man. I really like the first Amazing Spider-Man, so I'll probably go with that. But then, yeah, Spider-Man 2 was great. Far From Home, I did like. That had a bit of problems. Obviously, we've got Homecoming. Everyone regards Spider-Man 2 as the fan favourite because of Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, who absolutely crushed it in that film. He was brilliant. It's interesting they're bringing him back, which, you know, essentially all these people coming back sets up the multiverse. It goes on to say, John Watts is back to direct the new Spider-Man movie, which will once again co-star Zendaya, Jacob Batalon, Tony Revolori and Marissa Tomei. This time around, they'll be joined by Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange, as the Sorcerer Supreme will serve as a mentor of Salter Holland's Peter Parker. Sony is slated to release a superhero sequel in theatres on December 17th, 2021. Its predecessor, Spider-Man Far From Home, took in more than $1 billion worldwide, en route to becoming the highest grossing Spider-Man film of all time. So, yeah, I kind of agree with what he said, and it's because I don't know why we have to know every single detail. It's really annoying me that we live in this age now where any tiny like set photo, or if there's something going around online, people jump on it. It's got to a point where you believe this stuff more than what's actually happening, and I don't know, I don't want to know everything, man. Especially for a film like this, it would have been nice to have been a surprise to see, like, you know, all the previous Spider-Mans come on screen, Doctor Strange show up, and then you got Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, Jay Fox's Electro. That would have been awesome to be a surprise, but now it's kind of like, it's going to be a bit underwhelming because all this is coming out. Again, we don't know what's true, what's not true. So, that's the first thing about Molina coming back. Next thing, which this really interested me because obviously out of all the Marvel Netflix shows, Daredevil was my favourite, and I thought it was the strongest show out of all of them. And obviously for ages, obviously because the rights were still with Netflix, I think it was 2 years upon cancellation before Marvel could get the rights back. So recently they've got the rights back to Daredevil, and that's why this has been trolling around. So we'll look into this one as well. The next rumour, this one is from Bound Into Comics. I will post this down below so you can read. But yeah, the latest rumour is Charlie Cox to play Daredevil in Spider-Man 3, and also a Green Goblin to return. Yep. That's the article. The new rumour claims that Charlie Cox will return to the role of Daredevil in the upcoming Spider-Man 3 film, and that Green Goblin could return as well. This rumour comes from Scoop and YouTuber Grace Randolph. Yeah, because I remember she done a video about this actually. So Randolph took to Twitter where she wrote, I checked, Charlie Cox's Daredevil is back in Spider-Man 3. She then added, and I can add to the story that he will indeed be Peter Parker's lawyer. Finally, Randolph addressed the rumours about She-Hulk, stating, Feige considered She-Hulk to rep Parker, but felt the Daredevil connection in the comics is stronger. To be honest, it makes sense to do Daredevil, because if they're going for comic accuracy, in the comics, Daredevil and Spider-Man obviously have this friendship that rocky at the start, but even going back to the original animated Spider-Man cartoon, like where Peter Parker gets framed for obviously, I think he was something to do with Wilson Fisk's son, Matt Murdock comes in as his lawyer. So if we're going down that route, Charlie Cox coming back as Daredevil and Matt Murdock makes absolute sense because it's comic accuracy, and that on-screen relationship would be so awesome to see. I would love to see that. And obviously with Grace Randolph, she has sources, she's connected, obviously. She does backtrack a bit sometimes with what she says, but you have to kind of think she has some like credibility towards it. It then goes on to say, this rumour isn't really new. Back in August 2019, YouTube TVO revealed that Marvel Studios were planning to introduce Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, into the MCU to be Spider-Man's lawyer. Spider-Man's lawyer after Quentin Beck leaked a doctor video to J. Jonah Jameson, who proceeded to use it to accuse Spider-Man murder Mysterio, which obviously this is set up going into Spider-Man 3. However, IVO went on to indicate that Marvel will not be using Daredevil because the rights to the character still belongs to Netflix at the time. Instead, TVO revealed they would be using She-Hulk. He stated they're going to be using She-Hulk as his lawyer. Yeah, Jennifer Walters is a lawyer. That's why the second most famous lawyer in the MCU is Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk. I don't know if she's going to be Hulked out yet, but it's definitely going to be Jennifer Walters and eventually become She-Hulk. This was a year ago, so I think they've changed this then. While Randolph's rumours about Daredevil aren't necessarily new, they do contradict another recent rumour from fellow scooper Mikey Sutton. Sutton detailed that Daredevil would not be teaming up with Tom Holland's Spider-Man until his version of Peter Parker went to college. I didn't know about that. I hadn't heard that was a thing. Sutton explains, as Peter Parker attends college, which provided an idea of how long before this will transpire, his Spider-Man crime fighting days are met with huge punches in the face from the Kingpin. Which, that, you know, eventually that's going to happen, because at the moment Kingpin's just been more of a Daredevil sort of nemesis. But obviously we know eventually he becomes on Spider-Man's radar. Spider-Man and Daredevil then discover they have a mutual friend, Wilson Fisk, the ultimate crime lord, Sutton adds. Then we got Charlie Cox addresses Spider-Man 3 rumours. On top of this, Charlie Cox actually addressed rumours he might appear in Spider-Man 3. Back in April, we discussed the rumours stating, I haven't heard those rumours, but it's certainly not with my Daredevil, I'm not involved in it. If that's true, it's not with me, it's with another actor. However, he did know that he wants to continue to play the character. Look, I had a great time, I'm so grateful I got to play the character as long as I did. Of course I'd love to keep going, I'd love to be involved with it. Bearing in mind, this is back in April, so we're now in December, things have obviously changed, but that's what he said at the time, because I remember him saying that. I wanted Daredevil to carry on, I didn't want it to be cancelled, because like I said, that was my favourite of the Netflix shows. He just killed it as Matt Murdock, honestly, done so good. It's quite possible that Cox was playing the PR game, had to stay mum about his involvement, similar to Ian McGregor's repeat denials he would not be returning to the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi, despite knowing that he would for years. Yeah, you have to do it. If you're in that industry, you literally can't say stuff, otherwise you get the studios on your head. So you can't do that. Or Marvel decided to bring Cox's Daredevil due to the coronavirus pandemic. It delayed the film of Spider-Man 3 and allowed them to reacquire the rights to the character. So there's that factor as well, which now could be, got the rights back, let's use him. Glad they're not recasting, if this is true, because I can't see anyone else playing Daredevil, because he's just so good at it. And there's certain actors that when they play these characters, I can't see anyone else doing it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the Spider-Man thing's a bit different than Batman, but that's another story. And then we got this the Green Goblin rumour now. So Green Goblin in Spider-Man 3. Not only did Randolph detail that Cox will return as Daredevil, but she also indicated that Marvel Studios is looking to have Green Goblin return as well. Randolph was asked by Twitter user King of Monsters 1, what are the chances of William Dafoe will come back? She responded, I heard they're working on getting a Goblin, talking to more than one. I don't know which one though. Interesting. There have been 2 live-action versions of Green Goblin in the modern era. The first was William Dafoe, who played the villain in the first Spider-Man film by director Sam Raimi. The character would then be played by Dan DeHaan in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Animated version of the character would appear in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That version was voiced by Joel Matacone. So based on Randall's comments, it's more than likely they are looking to have both Dafoe and DeHaan to reprise their role. What do you make of the latest rumour? Are you interested in seeing Cox return to the role? But yeah, it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. I mean, to be honest, if you're going to bring back Tobey Maguire and Doc Ock, you can't not bring back Willem Dafoe. Venom, I'm not going to talk about that because, let's face it, Topher Grace's Venom. The Venom in Spider-Man 3, it wasn't really Venom, was it? It was just a bad imitation of Venom. Anywho, if they're going to bring back, they've got to bring back Willem Dafoe because he just absolutely crushed it as Green Goblin. Like, the scene in the first film, like the mirror, where he wakes up and then he's having the chat in the mirror version of himself, and I'm like, you just killed that. Dan DeHaan's one got a bit of hate, but you know, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 got the most criticism. Like, I can't even say they tried to do too much, because what they're trying to do with this one is even more like, yeah, I suppose if they're going to do the multiverse and Emma Stone is supposed to come back and Andrew Garfield, it would make sense to bring back that Harry Osborn. I don't know if they're trying to get James Franco, that's not really been rumoured. Yeah, so there's this to it. And then there's another one on Screenrant. This is the last one we're really going to do. It's just an article I've done. Basically every character returned so far for Spider-Man 3, or who we think is going to return. It just goes on to say, the MCU's first Spider-Man film is shaping up to be so huge, bringing back the expected cast as well as some unexpected faces from the past. Hype is real. The MCU's cracker Spider-Man 3 promises to be an absolute classic, with A-list actors a plenty sign off for the movie. The blockbuster is set to build on the first 2 installments in the series, Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, and it will be looking to avoid the same mistake the third of the Sam Raimi trilogy made when it hit theatres across the globe in December 2021. There's been plenty of chatter about numerous characters from past movies making an appearance, so it's time to take a look at every character who's confirmed for the movie, as well as those who are reportedly set to follow suit. But basically, it's got a list of 13 characters. Some we know are definitely coming back, and some, again, speculative at this point. There's been no actual, confirmation, but so obviously we know Tom Holland's Peter Parker is coming back. That's a given. It's his film. We got Zendaya as MJ again. Jacob Attalia's Ned Leeds. Yep, no surprise there. Tony Revolori as Flash Thompson. Marissa Tomei as May Parker. Obviously we know because that's the cast from the first 2, so that we definitely know for a fact they're coming back. Right, that's done. Cool. This is where, obviously, this is some of these rumours, some have been confirmed, but obviously we got Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, which we know because in my last video they was talking about Doctor Strange replacing Tony Stark as like the mentor sort of figure for Peter Parker, even though he doesn't need it, but the direction they've gone in the films, I think they still want to have that mentor role, and obviously Doctor Strange is down the road from Peter Parker in New York, so that kind of makes sense they're doing that. It's not like they're trying to bring, I don't know, freaking Fantastic Four back in. Bad example, but you get the point. With Iron Man out of the picture, Peter is down the mentor. The events of Far From Home show that he's able to step up when it matters, but he also exposed how his good heart can be exploited by force of evil such as Mysterio. So in order to make sure he's doing things right, Doctor Strange has been confirmed to enter the fray. This might just be because Benedict Cumberbatch is superb at keeping Tom Holland in check. Very true. Preventing him from leaking things in past interviews, but you know Cumberbatch didn't sign on Mid to keep an eye, so he's excited to see what happened with Doctor Strange, especially with his own solo movie scheduled to release soon after. Yeah, because I think, because we've got WandaVision, which plays the multiverse, we've got Spider-Man 3, then Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, so they're all going to be connected. I don't know if they're building to an overall massive event like Endgame, but that's what they're doing. Jamie Foxx's Electro, so we know that. That's coming back. Alphaman is Otto Octavius. Obviously, that's been the latest on it. Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. When Tobey Maguire was first cast as Spider-Man, some fans had their doubts. They felt he was too old for the role, but when the movie of the same name released in the summer of 2002, oh man, I feel old, those fears subsided. Maguire was immensely popular as the Webhead, and according to Collider, he's set to don the iconic red and blue suit once again. This is permitting some hitches, with Maguire still locked in talks with Sony and Marvel about reprising his role. Collider is pretty sure that will happen though. The loyal fans are buzzing to see him back. For many, Maguire was a Spidey of their childhood. Yeah, so this thing is, I can't not bring him back now, because if you got Melina come back as Doc Ock, you can't not have that universe as Spider-Man. It just wouldn't make sense. Be like, yeah, so we got the villains, we ain't got the hero. So I think they'll lock him in. It depends. It's always a money game in it with these things. It's either money, or from what I heard, is he doesn't want to come in just for a cameo, which makes absolute sense. You want him to have a bit bigger part. They can't not bring him back. Do you know what I mean? So obviously that's still going on at the moment. Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker. As if two Spider-Man versions weren't enough, the aforementioned publication also states Andrew Garfield will be back as well, because why not? Unlike Maguire, this is stated with complete and utter certainty. Garfield replaced Maguire as Peter and starred in The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 before the third and final act of the trilogy was cut. However, he might not be alone. Yeah, it's annoying because I never thought we'd see Andrew Garfield come back, because there's interviews he's done about how the second film, the studio just didn't really care about the character. It was more like about the money side, and then obviously there's all these I don't know if it's true, there's a stupid rumour that he had one sick day and then they fired him, and then the third film just went out the window. There's an interview he done where he talks about feeling how heartbroken he was because obviously that was his childhood hero. To get to play it was a dream for him, but it's just, yeah, it was all the behind the scenes stuff. So I never thought it would happen, and then, you know, the fact that he's been confirmed for it, I'm like, good, he gets another go at it. Maybe that'll open new doors, we don't know. Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy. Perhaps the saddest moment in Spider-Man movie history is the death of Gwen Stacy in 2014's Spider-Man 2. That was horrible. I just didn't like that, because Gwen's one of my favourite. I always prefer Gwen Stacy to Mary Jane. Don't at me. It's my opinion. Yeah, that was, I didn't like seeing that. It was quite sad because I really liked her. It's haunting seeing her plummet to her doom, with Garfield's Peter battling frantically to save her life. There's a funeral as well. Peter gives up fights and crying for a while before a rewatch of an old video clip involving Gwen sparks him back into life. Despite Gwen dying, however, Collider reports she'll be back as well. This suggests fans could be seeing Gwen before her doom, either that or a zombie-like scene like the one involving Iron Man's Far From Home, or it's another version of Gwen Stacy from another time. Oh god, I'm just getting confused one. Yeah, it could be another one where, like with Spider-Gwen, where her Peter Parker became the lizard, she couldn't save him. It could be that. We don't know. Kirsten Dunst's Mary Jane Watson. Kirsten Dunst has kept a low profile in recent years, with a 38-year-old only appearing in TV shows Drunk History and On Becoming a God in Central Florida since her appearance in Black Mirror back in 2017. However, she now appears primed for a sensational return as Mary Jane Watson. All three of the Sam Raimi movies followed the same routine, with Peter having to save his love interest from supervillains at the end of every single movie. Fortunately, the MCU has made their female characters far stronger, so fans hope they can see a different side to the character. So that'd be interesting. And then, last but not least, Charlie Cox's Daredevil, which we've discussed briefly. Charlie Cox played Matt Murdock in the Netflix TV show Daredevil. He was immensely popular, and according to Murphy's Multiverse, will be popular with Spider-Man 3. Huge delight from fans gusting the cancellation of his solo series. It's claimed he'll be Peter's lawyer as he looks to clear his name after being accused of murdering Mysterio and Cold Blood from Far From Home. Fans of the series are stoked to see how that goes. The report says Daredevil was always going to end up in Kevin Feige's box of toys, and that gives hopes of a series 4. Whether he fights alongside Peter or Peter's, that remains to be seen. So yeah, that's a lot of information to divulge in. I mean, I'm still skeptical about this whole thing, because there's been no like concrete actual confirmation. This is just rumours at the moment. If they're going down the multiverse, it makes sense. This is the rant part of the video now. This is where I'm going to go full tilt. Right, so basically, hang on, let me drink first. So since I suppose it was really built up to Infinity War and Endgame, we got to a point where every little tiny detail, there was articles, there was YouTubers, there was all these reactions, talk about all this stuff that's potentially happening, and I'm like, I don't want to know every single thing, right? But it seems like the last couple of years especially, it's got way worse, to the point now you'll know every single thing before you see a film. And for a film like this, which I've always wanted to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse live action, always wanted it, as a massive fan, that would be incredible. Now we're getting it, I'd rather, it's a bit sweet, because I like to know some things, I don't want to know every single thing, because now it's going to be a bit, like I said, like the first article, anticlimactic, because we know it's coming. We don't know to what degree all these characters are in, if they're cameos or if they've got more of a part. I'm happy to see a trailer, and that is it. That's all, gets me interested. Sick. Brilliant. But now all this stuff, it's just like, and this has been getting out of control, this film. Like, the rumours for it's been getting ridiculous, like, to a point where apparently, I don't know if this is true, but Tom Holland came out and said he was a bit annoyed that this is happening in this film, because he would have liked to have a solo out in before this, which, if that's true, I can see it, because he would have liked to have his own film. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so there's that, and it does take away the excitement of it, because I would like to have gone into this film not knowing much, maybe seeing a trailer, go into it, and then seeing all them pop up on the screen, I'd be like, whoa. Kind of like how Endgame was. I didn't really know much about Endgame going into it either, only that it was the culmination of what happened in Infinity War. But yeah, now with this Spider-Man film, I'm just like, it's going to take that element of surprise away, and I don't know why we have to know everything, man. I'm only looking into this purely for this video, but until this, I haven't really looked into it or addressed it, apart from the odd one I've done, because I'm just like, mate, the film's a year away yet. We were supposed to be getting a trailer this month, because we had that Disney Insider. Nothing really got done for Spider-Man 3. I still don't think we know the title of it yet. We might do, I might have just completely skipped over that. Yeah, we were supposed to be getting a look here. I think it was one of the Sony, was it Latin America Sony? They released that video. It was like a montage of all three Spider-Man together, and then it said something along the lines of, you won't have to wait long to see all three Spider-Man reunite. But then that got taken down straight away, so I don't know if that was an error that Sony were intending to post that, or if they were trolling it, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It's like going back to that first article with Jeff Snyder from Collider. I don't want to know everything. Like, we're in such a spoiler culture now, and it's really infuriating, especially with these comic book films, because everyone wants, all these journalistic sites, they want to know every single thing, jump on it to get the views, which I get, do clickbait articles. But it really ruins it as a fan, because then you're not as excited, and I don't know, maybe I'm just old-fashioned in this respect that I don't want to know every single thing about the film. I'll see a trailer, that'll be it. Like, I purposely try and avoid social media for this stuff now, but with this I was like, well, I have to talk about it. I've done previous videos, Spider-Man's my favourite, I have to address this and just discuss it. That's a lot of information to divulge, but that's basically the latest on this Spider-Man film. I imagine we'll get a trailer at some point, maybe early 2021, because it was scheduled for release like a year from now. What do they do? 2-3 trailers maybe they do? So we could get that. That's basically the rumour mill, if you like, of Spider-Man 3. Again, I don't know to the capacity the roles, because I've been watched a lot of YouTube videos on this the past few days. There's talks that with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, they're not going to be cameos, but apparently they won't come into like the third act of the film. Don't know if this is true. The rest could be cameos, but I think Doctor Strange, Daredevil if he's in it, obviously Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, they'd have a more predominant role. The love interest might just be cameos, I don't know. The villains I imagine are going to have a big role. I don't know if we'll see Venom. Yeah, there's always talks of Tom Hardy's Venom coming in. Again, I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of like these YouTube reviewers saying the film's too overcrowded. I mean, if you're going to go that route, then look at Endgame, look at Infinity War, look at Civil War. They were overcrowded, but they made it work. I think the only reason people are saying that is because at the moment there's literally, I mean, what was like at least 13 characters there. That's not taking into account the other characters, because like with this film, not that I want to know, but we don't know who the main villain is going to be. If it's a multiverse one, then any one of them could be the big bad. I mean, there's even talks of Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio coming back. Like, how's that going to work? He died in Far From Home. I'm all for it, but I'm a bit like, okay. I suppose because every incarnation of Spider-Man will have their villain in it. So obviously with Tom Holland's one, he hasn't really had like that one villain. Obviously Tobey Maguire had Green Goblin, Andrew Garfield would have been Electro. You can't really say the Lizard, because the Lizard really, it was Doc Connors. With Tom Holland, it's either going to be Vulture, which I don't think's happening, or it's going to be Mysterio, which will be great. So I don't know, again, if it's another version, because we know that Mysterio in Far From Home is from another dimension, which is different to the Mysterio that would have been in Tom Holland's version. Oh, Jesus Christ, this timeline stuff is giving me a headache. What is going on? Just try to explain it gives you a headache, because you're like, there's all these different universes, there's always different timelines, there's always different heroes, villains, love interest, settings, timestamps. Oh my god, I'm usually good with this kind of stuff, but just trying to talk about it in a video form, I'm like, that's pretty much the latest. The rumour mill for this is not going to stop anytime soon. I really don't like looking or reading into this, because I'm guilty. There's a few YouTubers I do watch where they discuss it. Some have some credibility to it. Don't know every single thing about the film before it comes out, because it's kind of like Marvel. With this film, Marvel try and do well with like secrecy and doing it on a closed set, so no one, like no paparazzi can get photos basically. But there has been photos that have emerged, and it's kind of like, it annoys me that these journalists try and do it to get the scoop, which I get is their job, but as a fan, it kind of ruins it. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna see it. If they do this right, this could be almost as big as Endgame, if they do it right. As long as they don't rush it, or I don't know if maybe the next phase, the multiverse, is gonna be like the main kind of bread and butter of where they're going with it. This could be the start of the Spider-Verse, and then maybe there's another film where it focuses purely on it. I've read stuff that apparently they're trying to give Tobey Maguire his Spider-Man 4 film and Andrew Garfield his Spider-Man 3 film. Be interesting if they do that. Would be really interesting if they do that, but again, is that going to be too much? Tobey Maguire did it from 2002 to 7. Andrew Garfield was 2012 to 14, and obviously Tom Holland's done from 2017 till now. And it's like, is there such thing as too much? Probably not, because don't get me wrong, I would have loved to have seen the third Amazing Spider-Man film, and I feel like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 4 could have possibly saved the train wreck that was Spider-Man 3. Like I said, the Andrew Garfield one's one of my favourites, because I just feel like that tone for me was, it captured it well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with it. Yes, there is a lot of people in it. If they do it right, it could be absolutely insane. And it could be one of those, like, whoa moments when you're in the cinema. I just wish we didn't know all this. But like I said, there has actually been no official confirmation. But the way this is going around, I think there's got to be some truth to it. It's really annoying, man. You kind of got to expect someone to show up now. And I know I keep repeating myself about this, but I'm just like, I really wish didn't know all this shit was going on, and completely surprised. But this is the age we live in. We live in such spoiler culture. Things are going to come out left, right and centre. I would have liked to wait to the trailer, and then, like, I don't know, at the end of the trailer you just see like Doctor Strange open a portal, and then you have Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man walk through, and then it cuts to Tom Holland and he just looks at him, and then it says come in 2021, like something like that. That's just off the top of my head, but something like that would have been like, oh, okay, this is where we're going. Right, shit. Alright, now if that had happened in the trailer, I'd be like, right, thank you. So we're getting into the Spider-Verse, live action, cool. That's what I want. But all this, it kind of like, it is getting to a point where these rumours, I'm like, they can't even put a lid on it, Sony, because originally they were like, oh, there's been no official confirmation of these castings. I know they shot themselves in the foot, because obviously, like I said, Sony Latin America, when they released that trailer, I'm like, did you mess that up? Was you meant to do that? Yeah, we'll just see what happens. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Like I said, we was meant to get a trailer this month, but I don't know. They're filming the film now, but obviously I don't know when they're going to break for Christmas, or if they've got any footage they can use for a trailer. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, as far as rumours go, guys, that is the latest on it. It's a lot of information that I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it. It hurts trying to like work out all these different timelines. I'm like, help. Yeah, obviously I'm going to do more videos on this, because the closer we get to this release date, there's definitely going to be more stuff coming out. That's all the information I have and I can talk about it, really. But let me know what you guys think. Are you looking for a Spider-Man 3? Do you think there's too much? Are you a bit annoyed that they're announcing all this stuff and there's no confirmation? Would you like to have been a surprise? I freaking know I would like to. Like I said, if there's any other breaking developments, I'll do a follow-up video. But that's it for the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and stay tuned for more videos, and I shall catch you guys in the next video. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you then. Take care. Peace out.